Today, we're going to talk about all things Thanksgiving. I'm going to teach you how to make a basic Thanksgiving turkey, as well as share with you my favorite holiday ice ring punch. We're going to spend some time talking about some easy tools that you can use to make your holiday season the best one yet. So let's get started. I'm going to teach you how to make a turkey. I was just speaking to my daughter earlier saying there's so many things that I've seen online where people do turkeys different. And she said, well, why do you do yours like that? And I said, because that's the way my mother did it, and that's the way my grandmother did it. And so that's the way I do it. Now, I have tried to get a little bit brave at times and tried other ways of doing turkeys, but I'm going to show you the way my mother and my grandmother taught me, and hopefully I can teach you. Now, you can go and add any variation to this you'd like. You can blend this with your family tradition, and if you don't have a family tradition or you don't know how to make it, welcome, and I'm going to teach you how. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is take the netting off of your turkey and then throw that away. This is a thawed turkey. Most of the time when you buy your turkeys, they're frozen even in the grocery store when they're prepackaged like this. So you want to leave your turkey in the refrigerator at least 2 days before you're going to use it. If you're going to buy it and use it the next day, make sure you set it in a tub, a sink full of warm water, so that it can start to defrost. Okay, so once you get this turkey out, the first thing we're going to do is rinse it. We're going to rinse that turkey off because it's been sitting in those juices for quite some time, and we just want to get all those juices out. Like literally rinse out the cavity, rinse out the neck, and always remember, inside your turkey is a package of gizzards and livers. Turn the turkey upside down and you want to pull the neck out because these are two things you're going to use for your gravy. And then let's wash that cavity out and let's wash the whole bird. No soap is needed, just a nice big rinse. Okay, then you want to take your paper towels and you want to just pat down and dry that turkey off because you're going to be slathering room temperature butter all over this turkey, and if you have it full of water it won't really stick that well. You don't have to dry the inside, just dry the skin. So now that we have washed and dried the turkey, now we're going to go into actually buttering it. I have received so many compliments over the years over our turkey, and a lot of people do this, but I strongly recommend that you skip over the diet, skip over all the eating restrictions, and make sure and pile that butter on top of this bird because that is what's going to make it so crispy and so juicy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 2 sticks of butter, and I am literally going to show you. It does feel a little bit strange where I literally just take this butter and massage it right into the skin of the turkey. I really, really, really want to see really thick butter on this turkey. So I'm going to just start by massaging this butter right into the skin of the turkey. Okay, you can just see that I'm just literally going to smear this butter as thick as I can get it all over this bird. And let's turn it back around. Yes, this can be pretty messy, but it is going to look great and crispy and brown whenever you get done. Okay guys, one of the other things that my grandmother always did was take 2 red apples, and depending on the size of the bird, sometimes if you have a really big bird, you want to put 2, maybe you can just put 1. I think this one will fit just 1, but it gave it such a wonderful taste. It just made it taste so smooth and so moist. It was just a beautiful flavor to put in there, and she did that, so guess what? I'm going to do it. And I've done that for my whole life. My mother did it for my whole life. So now, there are a lot of people that will stuff this bird right back in here with actual stuffing. That's a very traditional way to prepare your turkey. But for our family, we always just put an apple in so that that apple could help to moisten that turkey. So I'm going to take my cotton string that is like roasting string. I just call it my roasting string. You're going to put that right underneath the bottom of that turkey. You're bringing it over the wings You're going to slide it down past the legs and then around underneath those legs. And we're just closing this all up so it doesn't all open up. Up underneath there like that. And then you're going to come back around and tie that right there. I'm going to tell you, this butter makes it feel like it's so messy, but you're going to be glad you used all that butter when it comes out. So another thing I'm going to do is take this skin that is used to hold these legs together. We're going to use some really big toothpicks or skewers, and we're just going to push that down in there to hold that in so that the apple actually gets sealed in and cooks in through that meat in there. This roasting pan is a must-have in your home. This is from All Clad. If you don't have a roasting pan, you can go to the grocery store and buy one that's disposable. And some of them do come with a rack in it, but you do want to have some sort of a rack inside. Otherwise, they do have the roasting pans that have all the little bumps underneath, which kind of holds that turkey slightly up. But roasting pan is something, if you don't have, I would definitely put that on my Christmas list because it is a must-have for all kitchens. So let's go ahead and put this little guy in here. I'm going to transfer that right into there. I'm going to tuck these wings up underneath that string just so that I can have it all in place and those wings aren't falling out. I'm going to wash my hands so I can now start dressing this with all the seasonings. Now I'm going to take my salt, you guys, listen here, and I'm going to pack that salt on to the top of that bird. I literally want to pack it in there. And then a little pepper. It's very simple. If you have your own recipe or your own desire for seasonings, please do that. I just like salt and pepper, and I also always use a little chicken stock over the top because I love the way that that makes that skin taste, and it literally goes down into that meat and it gives it such a great flavor. Now the other thing is, this is going to produce liquid whenever it's cooking, and so I like to put that chicken stock in there with just, I'm going to put a cup of water in the bottom of this, and so it'll mix with the juices of the turkey, and I'll have already a pre-based sauce going on in there that I'm going to be basting this turkey with throughout time. So that's really it. I am going to just leave it with that, and then we're going to go ahead and get this in the oven. You can see this mess right here. This right here for me, I want you to just know, everything is not perfect. I still watch shows all the time on how to do things in my home because I constantly want to be inspired. One of our famous, most banner sayings is never feel inferior, feel inspired. So I'm constantly trying to get inspired by people who are also putting out content on how to do things differently or better. And so I see these perfect sets and these perfect situations, and then I try to do it and I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the biggest klutz or messiest person, or I feel like I have butter all in my hair and my face and I can't. You look at this mess. It is what it is. It's okay. It's okay. So let's stop trying to live in a glass box, trying to make sure everything looks perfect so that everybody thinks we're perfect. Forget all that. Throw it out. We're not perfect. We're all girls just trying to do our best, trying to keep up with the rest, trying to make home for our family. And it's okay if you have a little mess here and there. Just keep going. Okay, so what I did earlier was I mixed some white wine and a stick of butter. And I'm using this cheesecloth, which I very proudly purchased for myself for the first time a few weeks ago. Because I saw one of my favorites, Martha Stewart, I saw her do this for her turkey, and it made the top so beautiful and brown. My mother never did this, and my grandmother never did this, but I'm gonna do this. So let's do it together. So I'm just gonna soak that down in there. So what I did was I just put 1 stick of butter and half a bottle of white wine. Any white wine will do. And then I just let it melt down. Now let's take this. Y'all, this is gonna be so good. It's a little hot still, but that's okay. And we're gonna lay this right over. Y'all, I have a cousin who is a professional chef and does everything in perfection. Well, You know my saying about perfection. Nothing's really perfect, ever. I feel like that's like a trap from the pit of hell, is to think we have perfectionism. But my cousin's pretty close to it. So I know when she's watching me do some of this stuff, she's probably like, oh my gosh, you're such a mess. Okay, so look, we have the cheesecloth on top of the turkey. I'm just gonna pour a little bit of this over there, and who cares if it doesn't come out right? The turkey's still gonna cook. And another thing I wanna teach you is that follow the instructions on baking and cooking. So whenever it says put it in the oven for 425, do that. And then put your timer on and be diligent about it. Like, be a good steward of what your little project is whenever you're trying to learn how to cook, because it makes you better. Practice always makes you better, right? So here we go. We're all set. Cheesecloth is on. This is my first time to use cheesecloth, but we're going to do this together and see how it comes out. So let's get it in the oven. Okay, once you've done your turkey and you put it in the oven, make sure you put it in at 425 for 30 minutes. Then after the 30 minutes, we're going to lower it to 350 and we're going to bake it for 15 to 20 minutes, and we're going to keep basting it until it reaches 165 at the center at the breast, and then also golden brown to your liking on the top. After you lower it to 350, you're going to use a ladle or a bulb baster, and you're gonna pull that liquid out and you're gonna baste the top of that so it can continue to get beautiful brown. So that being said, now also remember, when you put it in, take out all the racks from the oven and just leave that bottom rack. You want that turkey to be sitting at the bottom rack. And then lastly, make sure before you close that door, you make sure you have 1 cup of water inside your roasting pan so that it can create all those yummy juices to baste with. Okay, here we go. The turkey is done. All right, let's see. Now look at how beautiful and golden brown that is. Just gonna untie this rope, this little string, take all that off. Then we're ready to transfer it over to the plate. I did let this cool for about an hour in the oven before I'm going to handle this. I would never do this right outside of the oven. Beautiful. So I want to show you just this basic layout. You can add to this sprigs of rosemary, you can add cranberries, you can add pecans, you can add sage leaves around here. But if you don't want to do that, you can just leave it exactly as it is. And this right here is going to be used to make the gravy that we're going to put on here, which we'll show you on another video. But this right here is something you definitely want to use because it's all the drippings of the yumminess of the turkey with the apple, all dressed in here with that chicken bouillon we put at the bottom. And now we're going to use this as the base of our gravy. Okay, so now I want to show you how to make one of my favorites that I found from Martha Stewart years ago. It's the Festive ice ring for a holiday punch. And I think you're really gonna love this because it's so easy to make. What you're gonna have are some fresh cranberries, some sliced oranges. You're just gonna take oranges and you're gonna slice those about that width there. And then you're gonna have some rosemary sprigs and some cranberry juice. That's it. So we're gonna start by taking some of these cranberries and we're literally just gonna put this at the bottom of one of these beautiful cake pans, which is like a bundt pan, but I love the different shapes at the bottom because that's what your ice ring is gonna look like in your punch bowl. So let's start with this. Let me push all of this out of the way here so you can see what I'm doing. We're gonna start by putting some cranberries here at the bottom. And you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. If you love oranges more than cranberries, then use more oranges. But I'm gonna take these oranges and I'm just gonna layer these in like bricklaying, where you take just a little bit and you lay it over the other one, and then you lay that one right over the other one. You're just layering them right on top of each other. Y'all, this is so easy, but here's the thing I want to tell you. It makes you look like you're a big champion. Like you are like the hostess with the mostest, like my mom used to say. I'm going to take some of the ones that are cut in half and layer that there just for the sake of room. So you can just get creative with your design here. Just layer this however you want. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is just take some rosemary sprigs. Let me cut that down there. And I'm just going to put that down in the center, and this is just what's going to make it super festive. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take your cranberry juice and you're just going to pour that right in there. Pour it right into your bundt pan. This concentration of this yummy cranberry juice with the cranberries at the bottom is going to make such a fabulous ice ring for your punch bowl. So now what we're going to do is just put this in the freezer, let this freeze overnight, and let me show you what it's going to look like. Now we have our fully frozen ice ring. I'm going to put this into some really hot water here just for a few seconds to loosen that ice, and then we're going to flip that upside down inside the punch bowl, and then we're going to pour ginger ale over it. I want to turn that right side up because I want all of the fruit to be showing when we get that ginger ale poured in there. So next we're just going to pour the ginger ale right inside, and then I'm just going to take some more cranberry juice and pour that right in there. Also, let me add that you can add champagne to this, you can add some vodka to this, you can actually use Sprite or 7-Up if you don't have ginger ale, or anything fizzy, maybe even a sparkling water if that's what you'd like, or one of the flavored sparkling waters. You can just get super creative with this. And now you have your holiday ice ring punch. Perfect for all of your holiday parties. It is the most wonderful time of the year. Or maybe you're thinking, actually, no, it's not. It's the most stressful time of the year. It's the most pressure time of the year, and I don't actually feel like I can get it all done. Well, you know what, friend? I'm going to help you with that. If you are like I used to be when I had littles running around the house, I would actually get stressed out about the holidays approaching, but then the other half of me loved them and I wanted to get excited about it. But I want to share with you on this episode a few tools that I can give you in order to lessen that stress. But first, I want to let you know something. We are up against social media every day. We look and we see the most perfect decorations. We see the most perfect cooking, the most perfect presentations of all the meals. Everybody looks perfect and we think we are just losers. We can't get that done. We don't look like that. My house is a wreck. I've got babies throwing up. I've got a mess here. If you open my closet door, you're going to get attacked with an avalanche because I hide everything in there. I know the feeling, but let me tell you, one of the things that I want to come alongside of you in is helping you to actually sit up with your back straight, pull in who you are as a person, and begin to love you, because I truly believe that when you have faith in yourself and I have faith in you, that you can actually take a step up from where you've been and take a step into where you're going. And no more are we going to look to our left and our right. We're not going to look to our past and say, you don't understand what I've been through and who I was. You don't understand all the mistakes I've made. We're not going to do that anymore. Well, let's draw a line in the sand together right now, and let's begin a new vision for a new life. And by that, I want to encourage you to take some steps forward into you being the hostess with the mostest. And I know if you have seen any of the material I've put out thus far, you understand that I truly believe in taking little baby steps towards bigger goals. And just like anything else, you know, if I decided I want to lose 50 pounds, I cannot go work out in the gym one day. I cannot eat one good meal and then be frustrated because I haven't lost the weight. I need to do little tiny movements every single day. And when I take little tiny movements every single day towards my goal, all the tiny movements end up being one big movement. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. So if you're hosting the holidays this year and you're feeling the stress already and it hasn't even gotten to the day yet, I'm going to give you 3 tools in order to make that holiday season super exciting. And if you'll stay with us here on this channel, we're going to equip you with so many fun recipes. We're going to equip you with so many fun ideas and actual tools that will really help you to relax and step into your purpose. Okay, the first thing I want to share with you is set your calendar. If you set up your calendar and you set up your event and you make a decision, maybe for you this year you only have time for one thing, and maybe that one thing is Thanksgiving Day. Maybe you might have time for 3 things, but preset that expectation in advance so that you know this is all I'm doing. Because those little boundaries and those little gates that protect you and keep you in that center of your lane are honestly what takes the pressure off. Because when you don't have those preset expectations, what happens is you start getting anxiety and worry about something that hasn't even happened yet. Imagine that. Can you imagine how crazy that sounds? That we actually go into the future, not only days, but we go in weeks, sometimes months, and we create stress and worry around what's going to happen in several weeks. What a waste of the energy, what a waste of the health of your body and your mind, and what a waste of time. So let's not do that. Sit down with a great intention, focus on what you want, not what you don't want, focus on the things you're excited about, not what you're dreading, and set your calendar according to that so you feel like you can relax in that. Number 2 is I want you to take care of you. If you need to get help, get help. Work into your holiday budget, bringing in some help. If that's a housekeeper, if that's maybe even exchanging with your parents or with your siblings or some friends that we can exchange and help each other, get each other's house ready, or go shopping together for groceries. Make it fun, but get some help. You know what? You're not in this life all alone. I know sometimes we feel like we're alone and we don't know who we can reach out to, but you're not. If you just take a step back and take a different look at your life, I promise you, you can find people that can come alongside of you and help. And if you don't know what to do because you've never done it, open up social media. You have Pinterest, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Facebook, and so many more that you can be inspired by. I go always to all those outlets to get inspired visually of what I'm going to be doing, and then I start working backwards from there. So first you have your vision, and my vision comes through the help of social media. But here's the trick, friend. I don't allow the social media to make me feel inferior. I allow it to make me feel inspired. And that's a huge click. I want you to hold on to that so that you don't feel intimidated or underwhelmed or overwhelmed, and you don't feel compared to. You do the best that you can do with what you have, and that will be enough for you. So the next step I would encourage you to do is take time in the morning and in the evening to find that self-reflection time. If that's meditation for you, if that's quiet time in your Bible, if that's just singing the favorite songs that you have, or worshiping, or going on a walk, whatever it is that helps you to get centered, that helps you to feel like you are grounded to where you're standing. Whatever that is, do that in the morning and in the evening. Commit that time to yourselves. When I was in my younger years, I ran myself to where I would just collapse into my bed. Couldn't barely get up in the morning because I was so sore from running myself so hard. But I want to encourage you, set your timer and say, by 7 p.m., I'm completely done, or 5 p.m., whatever your time is. Set that timer, set the alarm, and wherever you're at, stop. And then enjoy the rest of the evening for yourself. Because guess what? If you honestly run, you'll believe that you don't have enough time for everything in the day, but you actually do. Sometimes we get too spread thin and we don't get all the things done. It's going to get done. And if it doesn't, who cares? You're doing your best. And that is all that matters. So focus on taking care of you in those sandwiches of the day, because I promise you, when you do that, you truly do have the energy and the focus and the desire to move yourself forward to a wonderful holiday season. And don't forget, everything that you need is already within you. Woo!